also known as Melody-Wise Cosplay, and I'm making this video to show you how to create nice fabric details in your costumes using a heat-activated fabric adhesive. Let's get started. One thing you need to check before you start this project is to make sure that the fabric you choose plays well with an iron. Sometimes with polyesters or certain fabrics, they'll just melt, or at high temperatures you'll get sticky, or they'll just shrink, or something terrible will happen. So when you go shopping for fabric, look on the little end of the bolt there and see if it has iron instructions. If there's no iron instructions there, you just have to have the fabric, like I did with this gold stuff. I love it. Is take a little corner and check it with your iron. Just a little teeny corner. If it melts, not going to be able to use it for this technique. So just be aware that not all fabrics are meant for this technique. Let's go over the materials and tools you will need to start this project out. The first thing that you'll need is some of that heat-activated fabric adhesive. The kind I like to use is called Heat and Bond Light specifically, because it's not very thick and it won't affect your fabric too much. You'll see that one side is paper, and when you flip it over, it has this kind of textured shiny side. The shiny side is the glue, which gets activated by the iron. Next, you need a ruler. These clear rulers are fantastic for your 2-year-old to draw Sharpie on, and to cut straight lines in fabric with your rotary tool. I love this tool. It's perfect for cutting straight and very clean lines in fabric. You'll need your trusty fabric scissors. And last but not least, you're gonna need an iron. This is Old Faithful right here. Alright, let's get started. I have here a piece of red fabric that I want to cut some nice long strips out of for the edging of my journey scarf. So I've cut out a piece of Heat and Bond that I know will fit the edging that I need, and I will place it with the sticky side down, paper side up, on my piece of fabric. Make sure that it's not going over the edges, because sticking Heat and Bond onto your ironing board is just a terrible mess. Once that is laid down and your iron is heated up, not quite all the way, I have it most of the way, but if it's too hot, then the glue will burn and it just won't stick anymore. So once you have it down and your iron's hot, you just slowly glide over the paper. Give it a nice press. You don't want to leave it in one spot for too long. And your Heat and Bond is now stuck to one side of the fabric. Let that cool down. You can see that it's right on there. If you see some areas that look like it hasn't quite activated yet, you can feel free to just go over those until they're nice and stuck down. Okay, now that we've gotten the Heat and Bond on our red fabric that we want to do the trim with, I've cut it. You can see here's the paper side and the fabric side, and with that rotary cutter, look how nice and clean it's made those edges. Pretty good for fabric, right? It's great. So now the next step is to actually peel that paper right off of the fabric. This is so satisfying. Alright, now I have a nice floppy piece of fabric that's got adhesive on one side, and a beautiful finish on the other side. So, adhesive side down, I'm going to add this strip onto the edge of this piece of fabric. Since I've already created my scarf, I'm using kind of a leftover scrap. So I'm going to start laying it out. Yeah, let's start on this side because I'm left-handed. So I'm going to lay it out, and I want to make sure that it's not going over the edge because you will iron on your strip onto your ironing board. Don't ask me how I know this. I check every time now. So once I get one side down to the area that I want, I'm going to use my iron. I'm going to just run it along, kind of at a nice slow pace, exactly where I want it. Sure that all of it gets enough time with the iron. And you want to let that cool down for just a second. And once it's cooled down, you can see it is now a part of the gold. Look at that. So wonderful. It's got that nice flop still. It's got that plastic kind of sheeting in between the two. So this edge will never really fray. And the cool thing is you can make little strips like this and add your detail elements. Just by doing the same thing over and over. I want to put this right in the middle. All I have to do is set it where I want it. Iron that bad boy down. There it is. You can just keep building and building. Cut that kind of frayed edge off and get rid of it. Measure this to be just about that long. Put it right there. Peel that backing off. Stick it right where you want it. Let's put it right there. Okay, I have finished the edging, just doing the same exact technique that I showed you. Just cutting a piece out, peeling that paper off, and ironing that sucker on there. You can see it's nice and wavy still, it's floppy, and those lines are nice and clean. So the next element of this scarf are those really beautiful kind of cryptograms or whatever they are. Symbols. Now I have a silhouette cameo which I can run on my computer and stick a piece of fabric in and it will cut it out for me. Super clean. This is great. However, if you don't have this tool, which you can actually pick up pretty cheap used on, eBay or Amazon, whatever, but you can still cut these pieces out by hand. Just use a sharp X-Acto knife, make sure your blades are sharp so that the edges of the fabric don't fray. And instead of taking all of these little pieces that are actually this shiny material here, I wanted it really reflective and kind of give the effect of it glowing. Instead of cutting all these little pieces out, with this stuff, instead I cut it out of my red piece so that I can make a reflective silver square and iron it on underneath, and then put this part on top. So it's going to have 2 layers like that. So let's put our symbol aside, and I've already measured this. It's a 4-inch square. I'm just going to cut right along this edge very carefully. And then I am going to peel the paper off of this. Just like that. And I'm going to set this down, but before I set my iron to it, I want to double check that it fits and it's in the right spot. So I kind of gave myself some wiggle room on the size of the silver square so that I could move it around and make sure it fits and it looks just right. Let's kind of set that over like this. Make sure that it's good. Alright, I'm liking that. We can actually just heat and bond both of those right at once. So if that's exactly where I want it, I'm just putting the sucker right on top. Keeping it moving. You don't want to leave it in one spot. Once it's nice and heated up, that glue is activated on both the red piece and the silver piece. Once it's nice and cooled down, we've got our nice shiny symbol sparkling magically. And that's it. It's a really easy way to get those detailed elements into the fabric parts of your costumes. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate. Feel free to ask me. Thanks!